morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to have a bit of a look at Twilight Masquerade. Over the past few days, a few things have come out about Twilight Masquerade. There's some stuff that we need to talk about concerning Twilight Masquerade. So let's have a look at Twilight Masquerade. Well, okay, fine, we might talk about some non-Twilight Masquerade stuff, but it's all there and thereabouts, so I'm totally counting it. Starting off with the binders. Yeah, that's right. The official binders of Twilight Masquerade have gone and been revealed, and they are exactly like you might expect. They are going to be coming out on, well, we assume May the 24th, which is, of course, the same day as the set comes out, and we find that the 4-pocket binder has your Ursaluna and Poltergeist, and then your 9-pocket binder has your Terra, Dragon, Dragapult, and your, well, your Teal Mask Ogerpon. And look, on the one hand, we knew what the deal with this was going to be, yeah? We knew how this was going to work, because we have these binders coming around from Ultra Pro for pretty much every set. There was that weird set where for some reason they didn't, I think it was Astral Radiance, where they didn't actually give us the official artwork on the binders. They just had like stock art of a couple of the Pokemon. It was super weird. My theory on that, incidentally, is that the license ran out and they renegotiated it, but they didn't renegotiate it in time for that one particular set. So we've got this weird anomaly set that doesn't have booster pack artwork binders, which is, to this day, super duper weird. So yeah. But of course, this is the booster pack artwork for Twilight Masquerade, and it's nice, you know. Some of them it doesn't really matter, but certainly things like Dragapult, we've not seen the Terra Dragon Dragapult, and you get such a better look on the binder here than you do on the booster pack. So just really nice to kind of have that and be able to see it. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of these binders. I used to buy a bunch of them way back in like Gen 4, and I've still got them. They're lovely. But the reality of the situation is I've never been 100% happy with how they hold the cards, and cards come out a bit. I prefer side loading, and I'm pretty sure these are top loading, and they're just not my favorite binders. I have plenty of friends who buy these every single time they come out. Every single set, they are going and buying these and keeping a set in them, and they absolutely adore them. It's lovely, and look, if nothing else, the booster pack artwork on these sets here is brilliant, and this is genuinely the best way to enjoy it, and for that alone, that's pretty cool. And while we're here, I just want to point out, because it's something I haven't mentioned in videos already, so I think this might be, as good an excuse as any to actually mention it. The booster pack artwork for this set is very, very similar to what we saw over in Japan. Now, we saw this in Obsidian Flames, incidentally. If we look at the English set Obsidian Flames and compare it to the Japanese set Ruler of the Black Flame, you will notice that they are basically the same booster pack artwork. By which I mean they are literally the same booster pack artwork. They are exactly the same. Now, obviously, in terms of how the pack is designed, or the logos and all, yes, are a bit different. But in terms of the actual artwork, the picture, it's exactly the same. But if we have a look at like Scarlet and Violet 4, Future Flash and Ancient Raw, if we have a look at Ancient Raw, they obviously had a Roaring Moon booster pack. Of course they did. Poster child of the set. And we got a Roaring Moon booster pack as well. That is not the same artwork. Absolutely different artwork. I prefer the Japanese one, honestly, but clearly very, very different artwork. And we can see a similar kind of thing with Wild Force and Cyber Judge. If we again go Wild Force, we've got the Raging Bolt booster pack artwork, but it's also got Walking Wake, and it's also got Gouging Fire. But then if we go and have a look at the Temporal Forces booster pack artwork, obviously completely different. Well, here they've gone back to copying homework. Here is the Crimson Haze booster pack, and here is the Blood Moon Ursaluna booster pack from Twilight Masquerade. Clearly, now, this is almost the same artwork. Not entirely. It is the same artwork, if you take out the little Pokemon. So the Blood Moon Ursaluna art is clearly exactly the same, identical, same picture, etc. But you'll notice that obviously the Japanese artwork, they've gone and added a bunch of other Pokemon in with it, and for us, they've all been taken off. We've zoomed it out and taken off the other Pokemon, but it's the same artwork. If we have a look at the upcoming Mask of Change set, that is the next set coming in Japan, the other half of Twilight Masquerade, same artwork. Pretty much exactly the same artwork. It's very much like Obsidian Flames, where, you know, the zoom might be a little bit different and the logos are arranged differently, etc. But other than that, it's clearly the same basic picture. Why is it the same in Twilight Masquerade when it wasn't in the past two sets? I don't know. Wish I could give you the answer. But these binders are coming, and they've got the lovely artwork on, and this is kind of cool. Now, it's not Twilight Masquerade, but it is something you need to know about. We've got updates on these Walking Wake and Iron Leaves tins. Of course, I showed you these tins the other day. But I showed you the landscape versions. We've now got the portrait versions, which, of course, is pretty important, because these are the 4-pack tins as opposed to the 5-pack tins. The landscape are generally found in North America, and they have 5-packs in. The portrait are generally found in Europe, and they have 4-packs in. You get one less pack, or fewer packs, but they do tend to be a little bit cheaper. Why is this generally a European thing and the other one is generally a North American thing? I actually don't know. Bit weird. What I will say, though, is that more and more lately, we have seen both of the configurations being available basically everywhere. So it's much less of an issue than it used to be. It used to be pretty strictly that in Europe we would get the 4-pack, and in the US, North America, they'd get the 5-pack. It's not been that way for a little while now. And don't get me wrong, we still generally get one and North America gets the other, but the overlap is much bigger. And obviously, you know, these are the same cards that we are just getting in Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces releases on Friday, and Temporal Forces is going to be a pretty big deal. Oh, as a side note, I'm trying to do a box break of Temporal Forces on my Whatnot, whatnot.com/invite/thewassie. Use my invite code, get £10 credit. Come and join my box break, get some free packs, job's a good un. But seriously, I'm going to be doing a box break, 7 p.m. UK time on Friday for Temporal Forces. Come and join me, and we'll have some fun and celebrate the Temporal Forces release. Don't tell me that doesn't sound like fun, because it definitely does. But in Temporal Forces, we are getting Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, and these are very cool cards. And what we get here are just new versions of them. We don't have the English scans yet, so I'm having to show you the Japanese scans to compare the artwork here. Same exact cards, just different, you know, language. But just warning you, we don't have the English scans of the regular art yet, so sorry, got to show you the Japanese ones. And these are pretty cool cards. Iron Leaves, I like. I think it's probably the better of the two, because it's got the ability Rapid Vernier that allows you to switch it with your active Pokemon, move energy over, and then hit just enough damage to one-hit KO a Charizard EX. Not a coincidence, incidentally. And then, you know, Walking Wake, it's not the Charizard counter we might have hoped for, but it does have an ability that says damage from its attacks are not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So anything with which your opponent may be wishing to block doesn't work, which is pretty gosh darn good. And then, of course, you've got the wonderfully named Catharsis Roar, which is 240 if your opponent's active is affected by a special condition. If anybody's wondering why special condition, they're clearly expecting you to use Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet is, you know, one of those ancient Pokemon, and if you've got an ancient boost energy capsule, once per turn you can poison both active Pokemon. So clearly they're trying to make you use Brute Bonnet so that Walking Wake hits 240, and oh yeah, it actually goes through anything on the defending Pokemon that might be protecting them, which is kind of hilarious. So yay! And this is a bit more Temporal Forces than it is Twilight Masquerade, but I got to show you, according to the Poker Plateau over on Twitter, we are getting Koraidon promos. These are GameStop promos. Don't expect them in Europe. Now, I believe Australia gets GameStop promos because they have GameStop. We don't get these In Europe, we're not going to get them. Every so often, somebody very nice over in North America, etc., is kind enough to hook me up with these and arrange a trade so I can get hold of them, which incidentally is incredibly kind of them. And if anyone wants to arrange a trade, please get in touch with me on Twitter @TheWassy. But we're not going to be getting these. It's just a regular Koraidon from Temporal Forces. It's a very good card, incidentally. It's one that does 30 damage for each of your ancient Pokemon in play, and it's only 2 energy, and I like it. It is a card I enjoy very much indeed and want to build around. Of course, it is going to be one of our pre-release promos as well, so you honestly have a bunch of options if you want to be playing around with this Koraidon. Now we got a GameStop stamped one as well. Remember, there are sometimes other versions, so maybe there's going to be a version of this stamped with the Temporal Forces logo, which is going to be made available in other places. That does sometimes happen. As always, as and when I get news of this, I will share it with you. I'm nice like that. But for the time being, this is what we know, and now it's over to you guys. Are you going to be picking up those folders? Which of the tins do you prefer? Are you going to be hunting for this Koraidon promo? Let me know all of this in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter @TheWassy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. And of course, get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely William Shaw, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.